What do you get when you take one cool thing and mix it with another? You get Dungeons & Dragons Shadows Over Mystara.
Welcome to the D&D world.
Dungeons & Dragons Shadow Over Mystara was released for arcade cabinets in 1996 by Capcom and was the sequel to the highly popular Tower of Doom arcade game. This game is a side-scrolling beat-em-up and takes place 2 years after the events of the first game, Tower of Doom. The story picks up after defeating the Archlich Diamos. The heroes continued their journey through the broken lands of Glantry. After realizing that Diamos is only one part of an even greater evil plan, he was in fact being used by a mysterious sorceress named Sin. Now that Diamos has been defeated, Sin vows to punish the lands that she desired. Shadow Over Mystara follows the same premise as Tower of Doom, where the player gets to choose from 6 classic D&D classes to play as. There's a thief, an elf, a dwarf, a fighter, a magic user, and a cleric, and yes, back in old D&D days, elf and dwarf were considered classes, not races, all of which have their own stats, skills, and spells to help you and 3 others traverse through the different levels.
Man, it is so cool seeing all of the original monsters from the tabletop game. Everything from goblins, kobolds, troglodytes, to manticores, chimeras, and even dragons. Of course, you know, it's Dungeons and Dragons.
But the thing that sets this game apart from most arcade beat-em-ups is the ability to choose how to get to the end of the game. You have multiple decisions to make between each levels that will determine how you progress through the rest of the game, which makes replaying this game very desirable because you want to go back and play the levels that you didn't get to see the first time around.
It's really cool to see the different paths that I can take. There's so many different ones, and your playthrough will never be the same as the one before it, which is really what D&D is all about. You know, it's always going to be different every time you play, and that's the best part about this game. Kinda.
Let me give you an example here. After beating one of the levels, I was approached by a little tiny gnome asking me to help his village that was being attacked by goblins. Well, I could say, let the village burn and continue on my way towards the end of the game, or take a detour and curb stomp some goblins. Naturally, I go with the latter and say, why not? Now, did I get any sort of reward for taking this detour? Yeah, not significant, but you know, it was fun to do. But the best part about this was, since I did take this detour, after helping, they shrunk me down to their own size and I got to explore their village, which still, again, didn't really add anything as far as like reward value, but it was just cool to do, and that's what D&D is. It was just a specific moment in my campaign. It was something memorable, so it was worth it to me.
Another thing that sets this game apart from other side-scrolling beat-em-up games of its time is the fact that you can find equipment like armor, rings, you know, weapons within the level, equip them, save them into your inventory, use them. It's really cool and really innovative, something that not a lot of arcade games at the time were doing. And after beating certain levels, you can go to the merchant and restock on some of these items to use in the next level. So that again is really cool, and it feels so Dungeons and Dragons. I love it. You know, one of the best things about this game and what sets the atmosphere really well is the music. It was composed by Masato Koda, and he did a lot of stuff for Capcom still to this day. Monster Hunter, Devil May Cry, Marvel vs. Capcom, and many more. So he has a lot of iconic music that's out there, and it just hits those perfect nostalgic notes so well.
I do have a few gripes with this game, mainly the way that spells are cast. It stops the entire game, the flow of battle when you cast spells, and really, when you're playing a class that is using magic, that's gonna stop the game a whole lot because that's your main source of attacking.
This game also has a lot of nods to the original tabletop game, obviously, but one in particular I thought was kind of cool. With magic, you can only use magic spells a certain amount of times per day in the original tabletop game before you have to rest and regain your magic. And in this game, you can only use magic spells a certain amount of time per life, I guess. Once you die, you'll get all this magic back, but I don't know, I just thought that was kind of cool.
Another gripe I have is that this game was clearly meant for arcade cabinets because certain bosses have one-hit kills that are meant to eat your quarters. And by design, that's totally fine. It's meant to get kids to keep playing, and it does that really well. But with this game, you get an infinite amount of quarters, and it actually shows you how many you've used, also known as how many times you've eaten shit.
Another small complaint I have, and again, this is just nitpicking, is the combat itself. I mean, I feel like I'm not doing as much damage as the enemy is doing to me, and it should be the other way around because I'm the hero in this campaign. I should be doing, you know, tons of damage, killing all the monsters, but sometimes it feels really slow, and it gets kind of annoying at times, but the rest of the game kind of makes up for that, so I'll let it slide. Again, it's nitpicking.
And the main reason why I love Tower of Doom and Shadow over Mystara so much is because it somehow captures that feeling of the original tabletop games in a brilliant way by letting the player choose their adventure, which is what D&D is all about.
Oh man, these games were awesome. If you really like D&D and haven't played them, I highly recommend that you do, because you're definitely going to get some fun and satisfaction and nostalgia out of playing these. And I really wish that we had a physical version of this game, and there kind of was. In Japan only, on the Sega Saturn, they came out with a D&D collections pack that had both games packaged within them, not in North America for some reason, which is really weird. I would love to have this game on my shelf, but sadly they have yet to do that for us. And you can play it on, you know, current gen consoles and PC, which is what I'm doing here. And I just wanted to give you guys a little insight to a game that I really loved playing in the arcades growing up. I actually played this at my local pizza restaurant called Alfie's. I don't know if anyone knows what Alfie's is, or if they're still in existence, but Alfie's was a really cool place. They had N64s and original Xboxes set up in a big round table that kids could play while they're waiting for their pizza to be made, and there was an arcade area which had Tower of Doom inside there that me and my brother played all the time. So anyway, you guys, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please let me know down below in the comment section if you have played either of these games, if you remember playing them in the arcades growing up, or if you're just a fan of D&D, have never played this before and thought they looked interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time in the Nerd Lair. Stay nostalgic.
Dungeons and Dragons.